here's the thing. And again, it's a horrific spot for the Heat. However, Jimmy's been playing out of his mind. 35, 5 boards, 7 assists, 6 steals. And 3 of those boards, by the way, offensive in game 1, a 123-116 winner. Look, you're catching 9.5 with the Heat and Butler tonight. I don't think it's crazy as that number continues to inflate. However, Big Guy, I'm going to let you set this up because you came up with the brainchild surrounding Jimmy Butler and his impact with this undermanned Heat team.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting because as someone who does have futures on the Heat that I bet during the postseason, so they're actually pretty good numbers, but it was always a ticket I was planning on hedging at some point. Yet they go out and they steal game 1 from a much better, much deeper, way more talented, better scoring, maybe even better defensive in some regards, in some cases, Boston Celtics team. So it had me wondering, like, if Jimmy Butler can push the Celtics to the brink, and if he can win like another game or 2 in the series and make it interesting, like how remarkable his postseason has been. But I think in a vacuum, if you look at what he's accomplished already, he is taking a very sub roster that Miami throws out there and is carrying them way further than we ever anticipated. So it had me wondering, because with Jimmy Butler, it's not so much his talents and his abilities on the court. It's a unquantifiable skill he has of elevating everyone around him. My question then became, how
Good
many
usage of unquantifiable, by the way.
Is that even a word?
Yeah, it's great.
I guess you would say je ne sais quoi in French.
No,
right?
you wouldn't. That has nothing to do with it, but great job.
He definitely has a je ne sais quoi thing going.
That's
right?
true. Fair enough. That's good.
So
sorry.
My question about Butler would be, is if you took him off of this team, how many other NBA stars could take this exact roster as it's assembled now, starting Gabe Vincent and Max Strus, and you got guys coming off the bench that a lot of playoff teams wouldn't have in their rotations? How many other NBA players could get this team to this point in the Eastern Conference Finals? And when I started compiling the list, I thought I was going to have a lot more names on mine, and the list is pretty short.
Almal and I both have 3.
Yeah.
Now, I want to just step back to what you said in your explanation, which was very well done. We'll all agree. You said maybe the Celtics are better defensively. The Celtics are on another level. The Celtics offensively, defensively, on paper, if Jimmy Butler and the Heat beat the Celtics in this series, to me, I would put it up there with some of the bigger upsets I've ever seen. The numbers dictated as well, as far as a 550 favorite for the Celtics coming into the series. But Amal, we'll come back and actually give our answers. You would agree. The Celtics team, every which way you look at them, a much better team than this Heat team.
The only place they're not better is coaching. And I wanted to get your guys'
That's fair. That's fair. I didn't even think about that.
To me, I don't know what your guys' perspective is. Is it the Celtics team or is it Joe Mazzulla? I feel like it's more the team than it is Mazzulla.
I actually think it is
100%.
the team. Yeah.
100% the team. I'm so tired of this kid getting
And
piled
also,
on.
they have so much more talent. It should theoretically make up for the coaching discrepancy.
If you look at the starters, outside of Butler, which one of those guys from Miami do you want playing on Boston?
Well, let's put it this way. Smart, Brown, and Tatum have been through Stevens, they've been through Udoka, and now they've been here with Mazzulla. Yeah. How can we blame the coach?
Exactly.
It's the same iteration. It's the same team. So how many players in the NBA currently could do what Jimmy's doing with his Heat roster? The answer is next. Okay, so let's get into this. Now, just quickly, again, 9.5 tonight, 215 on the total for the Heat Celtics. And you do have Dallas VGK kicking off the series in the West. It's $1.16 for VGK, 5.5 on the total. Okay, Dustin, go ahead and reset it, and we'll start giving our answers here as far as the Jimmy Butler corollary.
So I gave the guys a little exercise because what Jimmy Butler's done with the Heat and getting them this far in the Eastern Conference Finals and even stealing a game in Boston to kick things off has been remarkable. And it had me wondering when I look at this just very mid roster. Mid is the word. How many other NBA superstars, if we put on this roster, could carry them to this point? I think the perspective and how you look at this, like, you don't have to say, like, this guy doesn't fit because this position, just like talent-wise, you throw his talent with the rest of the talent on this roster. Could this player get this team to this point in the season? And I'm very curious to ask you guys, when you went into this exercise, how many players did you think you were going to come up with? Because I'll be honest, I thought I was going to have, like, between 6 and 8 on my list.
I thought it was going to be 5.
Yeah, I thought closer to 5. Yeah, 5's a good. I didn't really think about it that way, Dustin. but I will tell you I came up with 3 names. So my anti-Jimmy Butler argument continues to fall apart in front of me, and I become humbled. But again, he's beyond basic. Let me just say that.
So can we agree on
ahead.
the first one? The Joker?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I figured that one.
I have a feeling we agree on the second one as well.
Giannis
Yeah.
Antetokounmpo.
That's where I went as well, Patrick.
Okay. So literally the first 2 names I wrote down. So
Okay.
And like they were the no-brainers. Like, yeah.
exactly.
But actually, I have 4 because I've turned my third into a no-brainer, and you're nodding like you know who I'm about to say.
I think we're on the same page. I think we're on the same page with this third one.
Look, I do think Steph is that guy.
So that was my third. My fourth was going to be, but a little bit of concern with age and everything else was LeBron.
Oh, I have a different fourth.
Oh, good. Now, can I just comment on LeBron? Because I had him and then I scratched him off. At this age, he hasn't. However, we have, and I don't know if we go back to Boogie Gibson and that team, we could compare the rosters and you could probably come close to what this Heat roster is, but I don't even know if LeBron, I don't know, you have a better memory than I do, Amal. Maybe you could contrast the worst Cavs roster with this Heat roster and say the Heat are better. But
Shannon Brown, Daniel Gibson.
Yeah, like no, LeBron in his prime could have carried this team all the way.
We're talking now.
Yeah,
though.
but now,
yeah,
no.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I said it the other day on the show. I don't think LeBron right now is a top 10 player in the NBA. And the level of acquiescing he's doing to some of these other players right now and the way he's not quite as explosive at the
Hillbilly
rim.
Kobe taking over instead of him, that's not great.
It's not, yeah. So I think he's aware that he's not what he used to be. He's still great, but I don't know if he's top 10.
Dustin, who'd you have? Because I think Patrick and I were unison on all 3.
So
yeah, I literally had Jokic, I had Giannis, and I had Steph, and that is it.
And that was my order too.
And yours went Jokic, Giannis, Curry, LeBron.
Yeah,
LeBron's like iffy.
Yeah.
So
mine was a scratch on LeBron.
I went Jokic, Giannis, Curry was my fourth. My third, you might shred me for this, but Luka Doncic.
Oh, get the hell out of here.
No,
Stop
get the hell, no chance.
No chance.
None at
I
all.
think this roster's better than what he deals with in Dallas.
No.
No.
Well,
okay.
no.
Comparable. But however, here's the problem. Jimmy Butler, Luka Doncic could not get 6 steals in his dreams.
No, that's fair. But I think Luka on this team could do something.
I don't like Luka as much as you do. I think
I'm out on him too, Amal. I'm telling you, that was empty calories as far as his splits this year. He is. People say, "Oh, he's a better defender than you think." No, he's not. He's a freaking pylon, and he's lazy.
He is.
I'm not just talking about his build. I'm talking about on court when he's not interested. He's actually a negative. He's a net loss because he doesn't just take off defensive possessions. I was watching them closely late in the season. He is a disaster.
No, it would be okay if he took off defensive positions because then at least you'd have a 5th guy on the other side of the court. He's usually trying to argue with the back. Yeah, exactly, with the back official why he didn't get a call, so it's 5-on-4 going the other way.
Hey, I
like the big guy throwing it in there because I think you're remembering what he did in the bubble.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, he did it
last year, too, against Phoenix.
Last year, too, yeah. No, but I think there was a little toxicity down there, a little system of a down reference for Dallas this past year, which led to some bad things happening. And when I look at this Heat roster, like, I think if you put him in there, he could do something. I thought you guys were going to poke holes through him, and I thought you were going to poke holes through my Steph argument.
No, Steph is unbelievable.
Steph's, I agree. He's
Steph,
so good,
in my
it's
opinion,
ridiculous.
right now, what is he, 35?
Yeah.
Might be the best conditioned basketball player. You know, I'm a big tennis guy. Novak Djokovic is generally the best. Him and Rafa are the best conditioned players. And that's what makes Steph so great. His conditioning, the way he continuously runs. The shooting, nothing has to be said, right? Greatest shooter in the history of basketball, period. But I think when you look at last year, I'm a huge Klay Thompson guy. But, man, Klay Thompson... he's showing up to that practice facility every day with the ski mask.
It's not the same guy.
No, it is not.
I think Amal's right.
Brand.
Look, if you weren't already there with the unanimous MVPs and the back-to-back for Steph, what he did last year carrying that team to a championship and then carried it over into this year without the help.
Yeah.
And Amal's not wrong. Klay he was 60% of what he was last year.
Yeah.
And last year was a bit of so, and he didn't have the same Wiggins in the postseason this year. You didn't have Wiggins because of personal matters for most of the season in the second half. Like Steph is on that Giannis Jokic level. To me, he's there with them.
Also has a chance to age very gracefully just because of his style of play. Like if he decided not to be the guy who runs all over the court, he could become a pure shooter
until he's 45
and play off the ball.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how long he sticks around. But I'd like the point you guys just made there because Steph is an incredible all-time talent, but it's still hard. Like the one thing is the Golden State team is constructed around Stephen Curry's strengths. Right, like he's such a prolific shooter. You've got Klay Thompson, Jordan Poole, at least for the projection coming into the season, he could shoot the ball. They play to their strengths, I think, as well as any organization in the NBA.
So basically, we've come to the agreement. There are only 3 other players in the NBA right now who could take this Miami Heat roster as constructed to this point in the Eastern Conference Finals, and that's Nikola Jokic, Giannis, and Steph Curry.
You know,
I feel like this is pointed directly at me.
It wasn't intentional.
It's a rough exercise for my shtick that I've been doing. It's really rough.
Your shtickle.
My shtickle has turned into a pickle.
I don't know when you guys think of like great leaders in sports, who guys are that stand out to you. But for me, like for example, Mark Messier with the Rangers in '94.
Can't stand him.
That's fine.
Steve Yzerman.
19, yeah, I said Brendan Shanahan was 19. Stevie Y was 19.
They're mostly cornballs, but I get what you're saying.
No, but I'm just giving an example. Like you may not like Jimmy Butler, but this guy
not a cornball.
But he leads his team,
yes.
right? Like he just gets out there and does it.
Well, everyone takes on his identity.
Yeah.
Well, I actually think he's super corny.
Oh, you
I
do?
think everything Butler does, he pretends like he's looking in the mirror. Yeah, I think he's super corny.
I think Jimmy Butler's a guy you would hang out with. You would actually like him.
Maybe he's certainly alpha, but I think he's corny. Like I think everything is.
I think most leaders are though.
Wait, hold on. We have to say, just like off the jump to Amal's question, like Steph is a great leader. Steph is literally a dynastic leader, just not vocal.
Well, he's been vocal with Poole and some other things there. I think Steph does a great job having grown up in the NBA. His dad played in the league. He understands how not to put it out in front of the media as much as possible. I mean, look, we're fortunate to watch a player like this. I always say I was fortunate enough to watch Jordan, to watch Curry shoot. Have you ever seen, you know what Curry's like? When you watch Pete Alonso during batting practice, it's like that with Steph Curry in the pregame.
You know what it is?
Go ahead.
It's the closest the NBA has to Ken Griffey Jr.'s swing. You know that beautiful thing and smooth and
yeah.
No, but listen. The challenge in the experiment was very well done. There's 4 players that could do what Jimmy Butler's doing, and he's one of the 4.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my point.
Yeah.
But here's maybe another question, and I think it's interesting now. And Amal, I think I know which way you'd go, but I think it's closer. If you're starting a team today, do you start with Jokic or Giannis?
It's no comparison for me.
I know you're going to say Giannis.
No, I'm not actually.
Wow.
And trust me, there's nobody who's a bigger president of the fan club.
I know.
Giannis, I'm taking if I'm including the marketing, ticket sales, off the court, everything. But 2 reasons for the Joker. His play is off the charts, and anybody that just absolutely jacks up Morris in the back, you are a top 5 pick in my book all time.
He is clearly, and I don't think it's debatable. He's clearly the best player in basketball right now, and it's really like with so many years, KD, LeBron, like Giannis, there was questions. Jokic is the best player on the planet.
Yeah, I hate to say it because Giannis is my guy, but Joker is the best player in the world.
Big guy, you got an opinion?
We thought that the elite 7-footers, the big men, were dying. Jokic has revived them.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.